Welcome back, my friends. Ladies and gentlemen, my next guest is an actor and comedian you know from the other two, Isn't It Romantic and Renfield. He now stars in CBS's hit show, Ghosts.
Maybe being imprisoned in this dank lair with that interminable dripping is my comeuppance.
What are you talking about?
I've disappointed everyone who's ever depended on me. I was a bad fiancé in death, a bad husband in life. Let this be my promise to you, my friend. If, by the grace of God, we ever get out of here, I vow to change my ways, to be kinder, to be less selfish, to be a better person.
Good for you.
Your rock looks more comfortable. Can I have it?
What happened to being a better person?
What? Oh, no. I said if. If we get out of here. God has to uphold his end of the bargain first.
Please welcome to The Late Show, Brandon Scott Jones. Hello.
Hello.
Nice to have you on here. We've never met before,
No.
but it turns out that we've kind of worked together before because in the first year of the show, we did this thing. We did a segment that was making fun of TED Talks.
Yeah.
Called Reject TED
Yes.
Talks.
Great bit.
These were things that were shot for TED, but they weren't good enough to actually be
Yes.
put on the TED Talk website.
Yes.
And you were one of our first ones.
Oh my God. Yes.
Here you are.
There we go.
You are, and you were a man asking the pertinent question of the audience, am I dressed as Albert Einstein or Mark Twain?
Yes. And even in the TED Talk, he never figured it out.
Yes.
Yes, it was
Yes.
one of my favorite things. I
Because the
couldn't believe
costume he bought at the Halloween
At the
pop-up
Halloween-
store just said smart guy costume.
it. He just said smart guy costume. That
Yes.
was it.
Well, thank you. You're part of the ensemble here.
Are you kidding?
When Trump first came into office last time, we cast you as Reince Priebus
Yes.
living with Steve Bannon in an odd couple.
That was me.
We're excited to play Reince?
I was thrilled to play Reince Priebus because it was around the time that you were having one of my favorite actors, Laura Benanti. She was
Right.
playing Melania Trump a lot
Right,
on the
right.
show, and she's amazing. And I remember thinking to myself, I was like, oh my God, I'm The Late Show's Reince Priebus.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
in the coterie.
Sure, you're on the ensemble.
I'm in the ensemble of
Yes.
the show.
Sure, have that on your resume.
Yeah, have that on my resume. And then I remember like like a week later he was fired. And I had like told everyone, I was
Yeah.
like, hey guys, look out for me on the Late Show.
Yeah.
And then a week later
Yeah.
I was like completely distraught walking the streets of New York. And
Yes.
my friends were like, what's wrong? And I was like, Reince Priebus was fired.
Took it quite personally.
I did. I probably took it worse than he did.
Okay, these days you play Isaac Higgintooth
Yes.
on Ghost, captain of the Revolutionary War.
Yes, sir.
Who is now dead. Are you learning more? Are you learning about history from doing this? Is it educational?
Sometimes, but not, no. I mean,
Because that's what Ghost is primarily. It's an educational.
it's an educational
Yes,
program.
yes.
It's a bunch of characters from different parts of history. You know, every now and then they'll have a reference in the script, and I'll be like, ooh, what's this? But to prepare for the role, I didn't really do a lot of research, like traditional research, because I was like, you know, it's not like a show that takes place in the Revolutionary War.
Yeah.
It's just I'm just playing that character, and so I like bought like this big, thick textbook. It had like an orange cover, and I was like, I'm gonna read this and know everything. And I
Sure.
got like a page in, and I was
Yeah.
like, I can't do this. Have you ever tried to read a textbook by yourself?
You shoot the show
Yes.
In Montreal.
Yes.
Which is a lovely town. I've been there.
Great
I've worked
town.
up there. How are you adjusting to the culture? Because Montreal's got its own thing.
Yes.
And do you spriken the French?
Yeah. Great question. I'm trying to learn French. I'm in classes now.
Okay.
But when
Like go to a class?
I go to like a class in Los Angeles where I live.
Yeah.
Every Saturday morning I've been like going. It's fun to go back to school.
Sure.
So I had this idea. My dad is a foreign language teacher. One of the things he always said was that the best way to learn a foreign language was to immerse yourself in that culture.
100%,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. And so when I found out the show was going to be shooting in Montreal, I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna become fluent in French. It's a French-speaking city.
Of course, yeah.
I'm gonna be the next, Timothée Chalamet. The comparisons were already there.
100%, yes. Yes.
No, so what I didn't realize though is that when you are going to immerse yourself into a language, you have to have at least some basis.
Sure.
In that, and I knew zero French.
Sure.
But the way I chose to do this was and you'll hear where I went wrong much quicker than I heard where I went wrong. So my plan was to throw myself into the deep end. I was going to go, when I got to Montreal, I was going to type into Google Translate, may I please have an iced coffee? And I was going to go to a cafe. I was going to say that in French. And when they responded, I was going to pull what I can only describe as a delightful switcheroo and say, actually, I don't speak French. I'm learning, I'm immersing myself. And that didn't go great, and I'll tell you why. So I type it in to Google, and when you do that, you can press the little microphone button.
So you can hear how it's supposed to be said.
Yes, and the Google lady says it, and then for a while, I don't know if they still do this, but you could press it again, and she would say it really slowly. And I was like, I'm an actor. I can do this. I'm a mimic, And so I said it, and I was like, okay, I repeated it, and it comes back like, oh my God, I'm gonna do it on national TV. Oh God. Puis-je avoir un café glacé? I want an iced coffee. May I please have an iced coffee? So I repeat it to myself. The Google lady says it. I'm saying it over and over and over again. And I go to the cafe and I say it, and the barista's face, it like turns white after I've ordered my iced coffee. And I'm like, I'm so sorry, I bailed. I was trying to immerse myself. And I basically have no idea where it went wrong.
Yeah.
And I record myself saying it, and I hear the problem. I was a good mimic. I was imitating the Google robot woman's voice, saying that very slowly. So in English, it was essentially me walking into a bunch of cafes going, may I have an iced coffee?
Wow.
Yeah. May I have an iced coffee? Where in that story did you hear I was going wrong? Because it was pretty, it's not a...
I stopped listening a long time.
Okay.
So lovely to see you, Brandon.
Such a pleasure.
Ghosts airs Thursdays on CBS. Brandon Scott Jones, everybody. We'll be right back.